Hi, Charlotte. It's Laura Kraut, and I want to thank you so much for sending your videos into Online Riders Collective. We really appreciate the donation, the help for those people who need some extra during this difficult time. I read your note, and I think that it definitely doesn't look like you've spent 10 years out of the show ring in watching all your videos. Scott looks to be a great horse for what you want to do. I mean, he's exactly what you described. He's brave, and he looks like he wants to be the winner. And you yourself also, you look competitive. You look like you've definitely had the discipline of riding in the equitation and the hunters for years. And all in all, you know, a lot of what you do is really, really good. I've watched through your rounds a couple times, starting from Harrisburg and then finishing in Washington with some of the places in between. And overall, I would say, you know, what I see mainly is that you are, you know, this is your first time doing the jumpers. It doesn't really look that, you know, it looks like you understand riding the courses. You understand riding the lines, the angles, the bends, the turns, and all of that. One thing I would say is with him, he wants to be a little stiff when he jumps. You know, he's a little stiff with his head and neck. I would say the worst he is really is at Harrisburg, and then throughout he gets a little bit looser through his back. But what I would say as I'm watching as you go around, I would just recommend that when he gets to the jump, you want to try to have your hand maybe even a little bit lower, just not quite so high and pulling up on him, but drop it down a little bit. I'm just watching you go again around Harrisburg. And I know he's got a lot of blood and he looks like, you know, he's on go all the time. So you do a good job of staying light in your seat. But then when he leaves the ground, it's just you tend to want to get behind him a little bit. Your hands are up. And what I would like to say is rather than you go too far forward with your body, I would lengthen my arm in the air and hold your body a little bit steadier just to help him. Because really what he needs to do is he just needs to slow down just a little bit in front of the fences. The times that you have your fences down, the rails that you have, are when he doesn't slow up at the jump. You know, he's on go. It's almost like his go button is stuck, and he's going, and he doesn't think anything about the fence that's in front of him. And I think that that's something that, you know, it takes a lot of feel and it takes a lot of concentration to work on, because it's not that easy when you're worrying about remembering the strides on the course and remembering where you're going. But I think the one thing that I would try to say to you is when you're in front of the fence on the takeoff, you want it to feel like it's going to take a long time for him to go over the jump. And now we're to an indoor ring or a covered ring. And I feel like this is a smoother round than at Harrisburg. He's jumping a little bit less stiff through his head and neck. But then as you near the end of the course, I think you have the into a double down, and it looks to me it's partly blocked, but it just looks like he just gets flat and runs into the jump. And even to the last jump, he doesn't hit it, but he sort of stabs that stride in at the last minute. And that's just, I think, even if you think about using your voice or, you know, just something to convey to him that, okay, you don't need to go fast over the fence. It's great that you can be fast in between the fences, but the time to not be fast is when they jump, because they do need that time to get their body up in the air and get their legs out of the way. We're at an outdoor now, and I've watched you go around here. And again, this looks good as well, in that his head and neck seem to be a little bit looser when he's jumping. You do a very good job of keeping sort of things in control and organized as you go, because I know it's not easy on a little bit of a hot horse. That being said, he looks like a blast to ride. I mean, he's very competitive, almost to a fault. So I think the one thing that you'll have to learn and you've got to work on to teach him is that he's naturally quick. So you don't need to think quick. You can allow him to be fast, but don't force him to be fast. I think whenever you force him forward, then he's flat and then he has the fence down. All in all, I think all of your rounds are really, really well organized and well ridden. Your position as far as your leg is very good and your seat is good because you're light with your seat. I think if you rode heavy with your seat, he wouldn't appreciate it at all. But yeah, I think, all in all, it looks like you've really gotten a great relationship with him. And considering you've only done this for 1 year, it's really impressive. And the fact that he also had only done eventing. I would think that actually I'm just watching you in a jump off in the outdoor ring. And it's the same thing again, it's the out of the combination. And it's just where you get going so quick and he gets going quick. And then he forgets that there's a fence there. I think that's really from what I can tell, the two things are just when he wants to be stiff and high-headed, lower your hand or try to encourage him to drop his head and neck when he jumps. And then the other thing is to encourage him to just slow his jump down on the takeoff. I mean, obviously when you're in a jump off, you want to be quick, but then in that split second before he leaves the ground, you want to just take a breath. Let him know that he doesn't have to be the fastest over the fence. He can be the fastest in between the fences. I hope that this has been helpful, and I really appreciate you sending everything in, and I wish you the best of luck, health, safety, and good luck when you get back to the horse shows. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.